Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 11, Lesson 80, and today is a satisfying one. We're pulling the whole comma toolkit together. Over the last several lessons, you've met the comma doing one job at a time. Joining clauses, separating a series, fencing off extra information, opening a sentence, marking a date. Today, we lay all of those jobs side by side, work one clean example of each, and then, just as importantly, look at the places where a comma does not belong. Let's put it all together. Let's start with the map. Here is every job the comma does, all on one board. Underneath all of them sits one idea. A comma marks a seam, or fences off extra material. That's it. Job 1 from Lesson 73 is joining a compound sentence. Job 2 from Lesson 74 is separating a series and equal rank adjectives. Job 3, Lesson 75, is setting off non-essential information. And Job 4, Lesson 76, is marking interrupters. Job 5, Lesson 77, closes an introductory element. And Job 6, Lessons 78 and 79, handles names, dates, and places. Here's the reassuring part. Every comma you will ever write is doing one of these jobs. And there's a flip side we'll come back to at the end. Knowing when not to use one matters just as much. Job 1, the compound sentence. Here's our example. The rain stopped and the crowd cheered. Cover the conjunction and check each side. The rain stopped. That's a complete sentence. The crowd cheered. Also a complete sentence. Two main clauses, so a comma goes in front of the coordinating conjunction. Now watch the trap. Rain flooded the road and ruined the crops. This one looks similar, but there is only one subject, rain, doing two things. It flooded and it ruined. That's a compound predicate, not a compound sentence, and it takes no comma at all. So the rule from Lesson 73 comes down to one test. Use the comma only if a full sentence sits on each side of the conjunction. Job 2, the series and the coordinate adjective. We packed maps, snacks, and a first aid kit. 3 or more items in a row, so a comma goes between each one, including before the final and. Now the adjectives. A long, winding mountain road. Long and winding are of equal rank, and Lesson 74 gave us 2 tests to prove it. The and test. Can you slip and between them? Long and winding. Yes, that sounds fine. The reverse test. Can you swap their order? A winding long road. Still fine. So they take a comma. But notice that mountain gets no comma before road, because you would never say a winding and mountain road. Here's the keeper. Reverse them, and if it still sounds right, use a comma. Job 3, non-essential elements. And this one has the best test in the whole toolkit. My uncle, who lives in Maine, sails all summer. Lift the middle part out. My uncle sails all summer. The sentence still stands, and I still know exactly who I mean, so that clause is extra, and extra gets commas. Now compare. The student who wrote the essay won the prize. Lift that clause out and you get, the student won the prize. Which student? The meaning breaks because the clause is the very thing identifying the student. Essential information gets no commas at all. So, Lesson 75 in one line. Extra info takes commas. Essential info takes none. Jobs 4 and 5 belong together because both handle material that isn't part of the main flow. First, interrupters from Lesson 76. The plan, however, needs more time. However breaks into the middle of the sentence, so it gets fenced on both sides. That covers mild interjections like well and oh, parenthetical expressions like of course and by the way, and conjunctive adverbs like however, therefore, and consequently. Now the front of the sentence from Lesson 77. Racing to catch the bus, Anna forgot her keys. A participial phrase at the start always takes a comma. So does a leading adverb clause. When the bell rang, we lined up. So does a long prepositional phrase, or a short one that would otherwise mislead the reader. And so does an antithetical phrase, like not the blue one. The keeper. If it opens or interrupts, close it with a comma. Job 6 gathers the conventional commas, the ones for names, dates, and places, from lessons 78 and 79. And there's one thing I want to hammer on, because it's the most commonly dropped comma in English. The comma people forget is the second one. Look, on June 9th, 2021, the museum reopened. Almost everyone writes the comma before the year. Far fewer remember the comma after the year, before the sentence continues. Same shape with places. She moved to Austin, Texas last spring. A comma after Austin, and a comma after Texas as well. And the last line puts 3 jobs in one sentence. Ana Reyes, MD, will speak Friday, won't she? The title after the name is fenced on both sides, and the tag question at the end takes a comma in front of it. That's direct address and tag questions from Lesson 79. Now the other half of the review, and honestly, this is where most comma errors live. Here are 4 places a comma does not belong. 1. Before a compound predicate. Rain fell and soaked it. That comma is wrong because soaked it is not a sentence. 2. Between 2 main clauses with no conjunction. The bell rang. We ran out. A comma is far too weak to hold 2 sentences together. That's the comma splice, and it needs a period, a semicolon, or a conjunction instead. 3. Between the state and the zip code. Boston, Massachusetts 02116. The comma after MA is wrong. It's Boston, comma, MA, then a space and the zip. And 4. Around an essential element. The car I bought is red. Those commas cut out the very words that tell us which car. So carry this out with you. No seam, no extra, no comma. Let's practice. In this first set, I'll show you a sentence with a blank in it, and you decide one thing. Does a comma belong there or not? Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. The wind died down, blank, and the sails went slack. Check each side of the conjunction. The wind died down is a complete sentence. The sails went slack is a complete sentence. 2 main clauses, so the answer is comma. Diego packed his gear, blank, and drove to the lake. Look at the second half, and drove to the lake. Who drove? There's no new subject there. It's still Diego doing a second thing. That's a compound predicate, not a compound sentence. So the answer is no comma. Loading the last box, blank, Nina locked the truck. Loading the last box is a participial phrase sitting in front of the main clause. And a participial phrase at the front always gets closed off. So here the answer is comma. Now for set 2. This time I'll give you 2 versions of a sentence, and you pick the one that's punctuated correctly. Every job from the toolkit is fair game. Pause and choose before I answer. Here we're writing about a trip to Salem, Oregon. Both versions put a comma after the city, so that's not the difference. The difference is the closing comma. The state has to be fenced on both sides, so the correct version is, we visited Salem, comma, Oregon, comma, last July. There is only one runner in question, so the clause, who trained all winter, is just extra information about her. Lift it out and the sentence still works fine. Extra means commas, and it must be fenced on both sides, never just one. So the correct version is, the runner, comma, who trained all winter, comma, won easily. Two main clauses here. The lights flickered and the power went out. The first version tries to hold them together with a comma alone, and a comma is simply too weak for that job. It's a comma splice. Add the conjunction and the comma has something to lean on. So the correct version is, the lights flickered, comma, and the power went out. Let's gather up the whole toolkit. Commas join two main clauses when a full sentence sits on each side. They separate a series of 3 or more and adjectives of equal rank. And they fence off non-essential information you could lift right out. Commas also close an introductory element, mark an interrupter in the middle of a sentence, and set off names, titles, dates, and places. And remember that closing comma, the one everybody forgets. And the negative side is just as important. No comma before a compound predicate, no comma holding two main clauses together on its own, no comma between the state and the zip code, and no commas around an element the sentence can't spare. Every comma is doing a job. If you can't name the job, take the comma out. Nicely done. I'll see you in the next lesson.